Nice to see you. Thanks for making time. John Graham, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We've all seen that video now of that peak hour metro speeding through the tunnel with its doors open. You've now had a meeting with the private contractor Metro Train Sydney. Have they been able to shed any further light on what actually happened?
Look, this was a procedural error. This shouldn't happen. I want to make that clear. A metro train in Sydney should not be moving with the door open. That's the clear procedure, but there was an override in this situation. Procedure wasn't followed, is the briefing to me. And that allowed this incident to happen for a short time, probably less than 2 minutes. I'm confident that the chances of this happening again is small. It's not impossible that it happens, but it's very small.
Shouldn't it be impossible though?
Yeah, and that is something that will be looked at, both the systems in place, the training in place, but we'll take the advice of the safety regulator rather than make a knee-jerk reaction to stop metro trains running.
There are strict performance benchmarks that the private operator has to meet in terms of on-time running. Do you think the adherence to the timetable trumped safety in this case?
If that is suggested, that it's a reason for this, then certainly the government would take that seriously. I don't have any evidence that that's the case in this instance.
Well, I mean, someone made a decision to keep the train going while the doors were open, so I guess someone felt the need to keep things moving according to timetable.
Well, the procedures are clear. This shouldn't have happened. Now the focus is on making sure that this doesn't happen again.
These trains are, of course, driverless. There are attendants on board, but they're not on every service. Given this incident took place, will you consider mandating that there be a staff member on every metro service?
No, we're not looking to make changes at the moment. That's not the conclusion I would draw on the briefing I've been given. I think it's unlikely that it's the conclusion the safety regulator would draw, but of course they're independent, it's up to them. They'll take a fresh look at this, but that's not my expectation, that's not the government's intention.
On the Sydney Trains network, on-time running has been pretty woeful for a while now. It's even worse on the intercity network. On a monthly basis, you haven't met your on-time running targets for over a year now. What's your plan to turn that around?
Yeah, well look, it has been difficult. That's for a couple of different reasons. February and March are always tough. People are going back to school, back to work. They're the busiest months on the network. This hasn't been made easier by the industrial action that we've seen across our rail network. Of course, that's impacted pretty heavily.
There was no industrial action last month though, yet I think about 1 in 5 services were at least 5 minutes late. So is it a bit convenient to sort of blame the union?
Well, that industrial action certainly has impacted on the network and our ability to perform maintenance, so we're very much catching up. We've caught up a third of that maintenance, which has been really good news since February, but we know there's more to do on this.
A few weeks back there was a signal failure at Ashfield. That was in the morning, but there were major delays all day and into the night. Now, these things happen, obviously, but why does it take the train network so long to bounce back when there's a fault, and what's being done to improve that?
We are interested in making changes. One of those changes we will make is starting to pre-deploy small teams of people that can immediately fix those faults should they occur on the rail network. So you might have an electrician, someone who does have the knowledge of the signals, for instance, pre-deployed on the network in order to fix those problems more rapidly than we would have had an ability to. To me, that's one of the very practical things we can do to make sure that when things do go wrong, and in a system this big, they often do, we've got a team there on site as fast as possible to fix the problem and get people home.
So when do you think we'll start seeing improvements to reliability?
Yeah, look, I expect we will see some improvements to reliability shortly as this maintenance backlog is picked up, as these pre-deployed teams start to roll out. They're two things that should make a real difference. But ultimately, I think one of the things that is a real priority for me as Minister is getting to the bottom of the rail dispute.
You won your legal action, getting a cooling off period with the rail union. That was designed to give everyone a bit of time and space to work on pay and conditions. The union now says that the parties are even further apart now than they were a couple of months ago. So what's going on?
I've never said we're close on this. That's not a claim the government's made. The two positions are not agreed.
You were close though, weren't you? It was just a sticking point over that lump sum payment.
Well, I haven't claimed that we're close along the way here. There's been good discussions at various points, but the truth is we haven't landed a deal.
It doesn't sound like you can give commuters really any assurance that there won't be further industrial action and further disruption.
Well, the government's goal is to solve this. We're not going to claim it's solved or it's close until that's done. And we've made a commitment that there will be a fair free day when that happens. But we're not celebrating or making claims until this is done.
Minister, thanks for your time.
Thank you.